how bad your life could be if you didn't do this stuff. So if you didn't, get that sale in or get that money that you need or, hit target and manage to earn your bonus, what's the alternatives? And it's that almost like, people say like always focus on the positive and all that law of attraction stuff, which in my mind's nonsense, by the way, law of attraction. It's like, it's action that makes things happen. I mean, you can have anything written on a post-it note on a whiteboard, but if it just stays there, nothing's actually going to happen. But a lot of these gurus will tell you that, that's what you need to do. You need to visualize stuff. You don't need to visualize anything. You need to just go out and do it.
Yeah.
And that's, but yeah, so if it is motivational for some people, that's cool. But I mean, I never set out, that was never the intention. It was more to just highlight how a lot of the people that follow, like, and share and have bought into this kind of motivational world are the same kind of people that you would laugh at in the early rounds of the X Factor, that aren't really very good at what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just trying to make it look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and they've been put on TV when really they shouldn't necessarily be on TV. They should be seeking some help. We shouldn't be laughing at these people. We should be helping these people.
So then, to go back to what you said about before, about not being motivational and all that kind of stuff. Your speaking events and your writing and all that kind of stuff, is that something that you've wanted to do, to say, I want to be this realist, demotivational person? Is it something that is an accident, a nice accident, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so it is kind of by accident, really. I was asked if I'd be interested in doing some books, and I said I would only do books, as in like a genuine business book. And I said I'd only do a book and only write if I could do it, taking the mick out of what I don't like online. And the people that I don't like online are what I call entrepreneurs. They're fake entrepreneurs that have convinced other people that they are entrepreneurs, and they are at the gym at 4 a.m, and they are, in the gym for 4 hours before firing out emails while they're queuing for their aeroplane and stuff like that. And some listeners will know who I'm on about. But
yeah, I remember that post.
Yeah, so and I call these entrepreneurs, and it is nonsense. It is nonsense. So yeah, so I said I'd only do a book if I could do it how I wanted to. And then off the back of that, people just started getting in touch saying, can I book a demotivational talk? I don't know what it is, but I like your posts online. So I didn't even want to do that. It might sound demotivational, but I didn't want to do it. So I set a price that really I thought this will scare people off. And it didn't. And then it made me realize, oh, wow. It's like you really can sell anything these days. People are looking for different things, and maybe I am just like servicing a crowd that likes this sort of stuff. I don't know. There's other people out there that are similar, that post similar posts, and I like their stuff too.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people online that are doing, a lot of people online that have started doing this, or, you might call them realists or whatever, maybe not call themselves motivational speakers. And I would say they get a lot more traction than your kind of people in the middle that are trying to be ultra professional and ultra positive about everything.
And say they've done it all before, so you can do it too. They'll teach you all the tricks and all the trade secrets and things like we mentioned before.
That's it.
So then,
here's an example. So in the book, I break down some of the rules between what an entrepreneur would do and what a contrepreneur would do. Now, there's one rule, and it's a really simple example to give. It's work smart, not hard. When people say that, oh, you just got to work smart, not hard, or if I had 6 hours, I'd spend 4 hours sharpening the axe. When people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's nonsense. It's nonsense. Really, really ultra successful people work hard and smart. To say Tim Ferriss, the 4-hour work week. Have you seen that? The 4-hour week? Yeah, so it's a perfect example. I think he tried something like 90 different titles for that book. He just split test the titles, and that was the one that was the most successful. So we had the same content out, but with different titles on. And why did that work? Because people initially thought, oh, wow, I can be as successful as him in just 4 hours a week. Yeah. But if you read the book, it's given like 90-hour weeks to get into that position. And that's the bit where these entrepreneurs seem to fail to recognize or not want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. And like we mentioned before as well, like before we started recording, about the lives that they portray. Like I have a fast car, I have a Rolex, I have this, I have that, I'm flying to this place, I'm flying to that place. And it's all well and good, but no one actually wants to talk about the grind. No one actually wants to say, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm answering emails because I didn't finish them yesterday. I was up till midnight on a project that has got to be done for tomorrow and it's still only half complete. Like, I don't really think anyone glorifies the grind. Everyone wants to be
No, no.
successful today, but doesn't want to put any hours in and doesn't want to actually do the work required to get there. I think,
Yeah, because that is hard work, isn't it? That bit's hard work. I did a post on this, an actual post on this saying like everyone wants to look successful rather than be successful,
yeah,
because actually being successful requires hard work, and hard work's hard, and that scares a lot of people off. A lot of people off. So it's a lot easier to follow these inspirational people, like and share their content. Like I recently did a post on Gary Vee. Gary Vee did a tweet with a 2 minute video on, and it received something like 26 retweets within the first 30 seconds it had been tweeted. Now, how can you like and share that content when you've not even seen it yet?
yeah, you just want to be part of the group who was liking
Yeah,
the content rather
yeah. For all
than.
we know, he could have drop kicked the baby over some goalposts or something halfway through.
Yeah.
But you don't know, do you?
No.
That's my point. But like, there's some sheeple on there that just click. Oh, Gary Vee says something. I'm going to click like. I'm going to click retweet. So people that follow me think I'm like Gary Vee.
Yeah. And so
I've got
then,
no problem with him, by the way. I genuinely am going to see him next month.
yeah, that was the next question. Like in some of your posts, which we will mention the Piers Morgan one as well, which actually made me chuckle as well. But the Gary Vee post, Tony Robbins, you mentioned just then Tim Ferriss and all those kind of guys who are ultra motivational. People pay thousands and thousands and thousands to see them, and like we mentioned earlier on, people go and see them to engage and be told, but not necessarily take action, I think, on what they're being told. But do you have an issue with them per se? Do you not? Do you encourage them? Because the more that they put out, the more content you have to challenge or twist to make it more
Yeah,
relative.
it's funny, really. The more of these people there are, and the more content they're putting out, at least there's more stuff. It gives me more stuff to parody, and I can pick and choose what I want to do. But I've not really got a problem with them. It's each to their own. Honestly, if they found a crowd and they found and people are willing to pay for it, cool. It's almost like it's the blind followers, the sheeple that follow him that I've got a problem with. And also often, and the bigger they are, the less likely they are to buy it, I think, and they won't engage with me because like to them, who do they care who Mike Winnet is? In fact, Gary V's sent me a message on Twitter before and liked and shared some of my content. But that was a bot. You could tell it was a bot the way it was written. The message he sent. So it's like I don't even think they care. They don't care. It's the ones, and this is the ones I've got a problem with. It's the next level, which is so blatantly not telling the truth, and it's not their lifestyle, and it's but they're pretending to be because they want to be the next Gary Vee. And I'll give you an example of this. Gary Vee signs off his content with his like signature.
Yeah.
You look around on LinkedIn now, and there may be certain former apprentice winners that have started doing that. They're like a Gary Vee knockoff. There's other Amazon best-selling writers and world record holders that also do the same thing. But it's like, we all know where you've got this idea from. You're just a paint-by-numbers Gary Vee. You're like a poor man's Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But do you know what's interesting about that? Like the amount of times Tony Robbins or Tim Ferriss or even Gary Vee, just purely while we're talking about them, have said, don't try and be the next Gary Vee. Don't try and be the next Tony Robbins. Be, in the most motivational way you can say it, be the best version of you possible. So if you're actually listening and you're actually taking on board what he's saying and you're engaging with all the content that he's putting out in the right way, you should know copying is not what he's telling you to do. He's not telling you to say what I say and do what I do. He's telling you to find your own niche and find your own way about things. No, sign all your content. I know it's an extreme example, but sign off with your signature because I sign off with my signature. That's not the message in the content.
Like make yourself the brand. I mean, that requires actual thinking, doesn't it? And like, it's so much easier just to copy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like we were saying earlier, like, how many times have you seen Gary Vee or Tony Robbins we were talking about Warren Buffett as well and Mark Zuckerberg have show their Rolex and their a Jaguar and they're this and they're that and the other. They don't. They're not
Yeah,
busy watching content or engaging in content. They're busy actually doing and actually achieving and actually making a success. They're not.
yeah.
It's not about
I'll give an
watching
example.
YouTube.
I was in Ibiza for a few days in July, and I was staying in a hotel, Jet Apartments in Bora Bora. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was at the Jet. Now I don't know how much it costs, but you're not talking more than 100 quid a night, 150 quid a night or whatever. So we're there. Yeah, you got groups of lads bouncing around in like Gucci bum bags, Gucci glasses, Gucci flips. It looks like they've been chewed up and spat out of a Gucci factory.
Yeah.
But they're wearing different stuff every day. And do you know what instantly springs to mind? Is fake. Like you bought that off Instagram.
Yeah.
Because real people that can afford that kind of stuff aren't sat there like saying, "Oh wow, look at my Gucci slides." No one's asked.
Yeah. It's
So it's
just
like
a label you're putting on yourself.
Or there's certain people that are interested in that stuff. It's like, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily they'd be fans of Mike Winnet. Do you know what I mean? It's people that kind of like aren't impressed by that lifestyle. But maybe that's a problem, a wider problem with stuff like Instagram and social media and stuff. I don't know.
But do you think there's an element of, because all of these lifestyles are so in your face because of social media, it's now that's what people attain to be, have a lifestyle that they can't sustain, but the view of that lifestyle is more important than actually being able to sustain it, or the fact that it's real.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, looking successful is more important than being successful. Looking like you can afford something is more important than actually being able to afford something. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Definitely.
And it's like about influencers.
Nowadays, they want to be famous. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, like we mentioned before, about people want to be in that circle of, I know this not know the influencer, but I'm engaging with this influencer's piece of content, even though I don't actually know what and or possibly care what it is. I just want people to know I like Gary Vee's stuff. We're using him as an example, but there's plenty of other people. To say I like his stuff, or if it's a fashion influencer, or if it's a car influencer, or whoever it is, if I'm in that circle of people who like you, by proxy, there's an element of cool there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I agree. That's definitely true. And it's definitely true on LinkedIn. Like I've only moved on to other platforms recently because of the book, and I knew that necessarily I can't just stick to one platform. But say on LinkedIn, everyone knows who these people are, and it's almost like they kill you with kindness as well. Like if you criticize them, they either delete you or block you, which is cool. It's anyone's prerogative; they can do that. But often they'll respond to you in a way where they're ultra positive, but like almost passive aggressive. So they're quite often, the way they respond to people isn't how they, like to be perceived online anyway. If you look at how they do, because what they like is they just like 21,000 sheeple clicking like or saying amazing or you're so kind or you're inspirational. But if you actually say, which person did you hire? Like, where are they in the company now? If you ask any question which actually scratches a tiny bit below the surface, they don't like that.
Yeah, it's too invasive.
They don't like that one bit. Because it's obviously not true. Now, if you've got this best hire ever and they're doing amazing in a company and they're on LinkedIn, you'd tag them in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd say this person is amazing. Yeah, without a doubt.
But they never do. It's always, like I did a post the other day, like saying someone that's got a foot for a head, no arms, no legs, and then you've gone and hired them. Now they're the best Formula One driver ever. It's like, that's not true. Yeah. But you put that. Some of these people could put that story out, and that would hit 10,000 likes easily.
Just because of
so
people
LinkedIn,
just like.
I think the standard of LinkedIn's slipped definitely over the last 12 months.
Okay, so how are you finding the transition? And you mentioned, I know we'll mention the Piers Morgan tweet in a minute, which he engaged with as well, and it was kind of like a bit of a joke on him. But how are you finding the transition from LinkedIn, which you're comfortable with, you've done for a long time, going over to Facebook and the reactions you're getting on Facebook and Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, it's a different world. There's a million people out there that are funnier than me. There's a million people out there that are funnier than you, smarter than you, all these kind of things. And on Twitter, you're competing with that many people, and people are less professional. So having a sort of a Mike Winnet on Twitter doesn't work so well. It doesn't. Yeah, I'd say it doesn't work as well at all. But it's all right.
You have to use different levels of sarcasm or there's different language that is reacted to more than others. Like I know
Yeah.
LinkedIn is quite corporate